Shalom Chaverim, Shabbat Shalom. This is Rabbi Yitzhak Shapira coming to you with a special teaching, updates, whatever you want to call it, from the Dominican Republic. I hope you've been blessed to watch some of the videos that have been coming through the stream. We have had just incredible, just absolutely incredible time here in Sosúa, and just shortly here we're going to be heading to Santo Domingo, the capital, to continue the work with this conference called the Clock of God. But before I'm leaving Sosúa, we have a terrific time here also exploring the Jewishness of the city. I actually have the privilege today to have a very special guest with me here for a very special interview. And I tell you right now, you need to listen to this incredible story of my good friend. He's a conservative Jew. I had the privilege of staying in his house and just a beautiful connection. I really feel like a great connection has been made. And Eliyahu, is it pronounced Baver?
Baver. Correct.
Eliyahu Baver. Baver, you're really Jewish. Yeah, you really are Jewish.
Yeah.
From the Boston
area.
Boston.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting organization that we're going to talk about in a minute, about what you do. But just a little bit first, let's start. Eliyahu, Baruch haba, Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, Shabbat Shalom, Boker Tov. Good morning.
Before we talk about a little bit what you do, just a little bit about your history, your past, your raise. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Sure. I want to start first by saying that it was a privilege to host you, and to have these couple of days to get to know Rabbi better and see the energy that he exudes and that is so receptive here was wonderful. So this is great to have this interview, not at the first time we met, but after we've had a chance to share some time together. So, and you got to jump on the beach today just now, so you're all refreshed. So I come from the Boston area, moved from the Boston area with my wife 4 months ago, and the whole intent of that was to pursue this larger scale project, which is to commemorate the history and culture of the area.
Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure.
So we know who you
raised in a conservative household, and my grandparents were actually Orthodox. And
where did they come from, do you know?
They're Lithuania.
Lithuania. Oh, half of my family is also from Lithuania.
I heard that. We haven't had a chance.
Cool.
We've been so busy, we haven't had a chance to even talk about that.
Cousins.
Yes. So they were very, very strong in their Judaic beliefs and passing along the tradition. So I grew up in a traditional Jewish household with, Shabbat every week, going to Hebrew school for many years, knowing the bracha, leading services, junior congregation, and all that. So it's something that has never left me, and I'm very appreciative of my parents who actually imbued this in me, and it continues till today. And actually, in their death the past couple of years, I have a particular honor I'd like to bestow of continuing to keep this going. So other than that, grew up in the Buffalo, New York area for a short time, by Niagara Falls, and then after that moved to the Detroit area, and that's where went to college at Michigan State there, and right in the state, and then afterward pursued a very short but fun baseball playing career.
Baseball, like you're talking like major league?
Minor league, but still professional level, and it's nice to have played with people who've actually made it big, even though I didn't make it to the big time. Many people that I played with.
But still, minor league is still pretty major.
If you talk about the number of people who start in Little League to actually make it to have a professional contract.
Then you had a career as a professional baseball player.
Yes, very short.
Then you became like an executive on IBM.
Yes, then I actually worked in the technology field for Compaq, Hewlett-Packard.
Wow.
Actually purchased Compaq. And then, of course, after that, for the last 10 years after that at IBM. So covering Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, the entire New England area for the entire technology portfolio.
So that's not like a fairly typical Jewish life in many regards, Reza with a very strong Jewish identity, professional, successful. You had a baseball career here in the middle. What would cause you to wanting to come? I mean, obviously you are very passionate about your Jewishness. I wouldn't say you are a religious Jew, but you're very, very passionate about Judaism and about your
Carrying on the
heritage
tradition.
and our tradition. So, what would cause you to want to come to the Dominican Republic? And we are in Sosúa here. First time you came here, here's my first question. First time you came here, did you have any idea about the Jewish? Because obviously you've been doing what you're doing for quite a while now. First time you came here, did you know what's here?
I didn't actually, and that was one of the best surprises of all, is that I came here on a baseball trip. It was totally related to baseball, to visit the Red Sox Academy down on the south coast of the island, and as a result of that trip, someone casually mentioned there happens to be a Jewish community on the north coast that has these beautiful stained glass windows, and it captivated me, and then I came back. And
what was your first reaction when you saw it?
I was mystified, and I was very curious, and that's what kind of lit this fire of this passion.
Is that lit this fire, this passion? Now,
yes.
Most people don't know the story even of Sosúa. So you are truly very humble. You are a subject matter expert on this, because I think you turn every piece of stone in trying to understand
maybe too many.
The historical ramification of what took place. For the benefit of our audience and those who are watching us, let's step back. What's unique about the Jewish community here, and what's unique about the story of Sosúa? Walk us back for the benefits of everybody.
Absolutely. This community had an opportunity, as did 31 other nations of the world, by the way, back in 1938. At this Evian conference, which is the same
Evian, France,
same as the bottle of water, correct.
And so 38, 2 years before the breaking of the war.
Exactly, when there was an opportunity to deal with the displaced refugees and all of this, the terror that was happening in Europe. And so Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president at the time, called this Evian conference in this beautiful site.
We called it. The Americans called it.
Absolutely, Americans called it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was in response to world pressure that something needs to be done, and taking a leadership role, the United States, FDR, called the conference.
Stop there, though, because that's already interesting to me, because they wanted to talk about the Jews, right? What to do with the Jewish people.
Disposition of, exactly, how do we deal with
that? That's 2 years before the World War. So, people say all the time, we didn't know that this is going to happen. But apparently, based on what you're telling me, they did know. And we, as an American government, knew that it's going to happen. That's what I'm getting out of it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely correct. And as of the 31 other countries, they were completely aware of the plight and the disposition of the refugees and what was happening in Europe. And they chose not to act. The only country that did act, again, of these 32 nations, which were assembled for 9 days, by the way, in Evian, France, a beautiful resort. The only country which agreed to accept, lessen their immigration quotas and accept the Jews was the Dominican Republic, 100,000.
Wait a second, stop there. From all the countries, 32 countries meeting, the only country that was willing to accept the Jews, what about the United States?
Well, they had existing immigration quotas which were already in place, which were very minimal. And in light of this terrible situation happening, the whole goal was to have each country look to take in more than their standard quota that they already had for refugees. Now, I'm not saying Jewish refugees, just refugees in general.
And none of the countries agreed.
None of the countries agreed. They all said, we have other things going on. I think Australia, one of the countries said, we don't have a social problem. We don't want to import one. There was any number of excuses that were given, basically, to just kind of...
But I am just absolutely stunned that the world basically knew that this is going to happen. The world knew this was going to happen, and they did nothing.
Failed to act, exactly.
Now, who was in the power during this time in Dominican Republic? You know,
Rafael Trujillo.
Okay.
He ruled from 1930 to 1961. Again, he had a very firm, strong dictatorship. One of the ironies of this whole story is that here were people leaving Nazi Germany, and one racist dictator coming into the hand actually here, which this is the other part of the story, is that some of the underlying motivations why Rafael Trujillo and the government accepted the Jews was because they had an intent. He had an intent to want to, number one, remedy his his own sense in the world's eyes, because 3 months previously there was something called the Parsley Massacre, which was up on the border not too far from here, where there were 15, 20,000 Haitians that were murdered.
Wow.
And it was in the news. So it was an opportunity for President Trujillo to rewrite, hopefully. That's one of the
so he
potential
wanted to erase what happened. But what was his motivation? So why did he wanted the Jews to come here? That's the first question. Why?
There's many hypothesized theories as to why. Again,
What is your gut?
My gut is that he wanted to...
By the way, sorry, I see my wife. Hi, sweetheart, I love you. Go ahead, go ahead.
He's here, we're taking great care of him, really.
Yeah, I'm leaving in a few minutes, but I love you. But I just want to say to my wife, because every time I see my wife, I get excited.
She's the boss.
Yeah, she is for sure. She's the boss of my life. I love it. But I want to get understanding of this. Why do you think he said he's willing to take 100,000 Jews?
Mm-hmm.
Eliyahu, how can it be?
There was a notion that for whatever, sometimes even people who are dictators have other notions that come to mind, are part of the ultimate plan. Is how it actually played out here. And as we know from visiting the last couple of days, as a result of that conference and the thumbs up to bring them in, there's a successful agricultural settlement that was established here in 1940.
So he was willing to take, just for the benefit of our audience, the Evian conference was here. The only country that says we're going to take Jews was Dominican Republic, flat out.
Yep, who's going to expand their existing quotas, which needed to be dramatically expanded.
He says, I'm going to take up to 100,000 Jews.
And give them 26,000 acres of land, too. That's another part. I don't know if
Give them land, but correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just asking a question. He wanted mostly men. Is it true or not really?
No, it is true. If you take a look at the actual records of who came here, it was mostly single men, and the intent, again, was to intermarry here with the local population, which, by the way, happened, absolutely happened.
Wow.
Yes, so the intent that he had did, in fact, occur.
To create maybe a new Jewish race here?
But that's why there's such strong synergies between the Jewish and the Dominican cultures, which is really undiscovered by so many people. Shocking. It's part of my passion to show this fusion between the two cultures.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible, Eliyahu. So 100,000 people, 700 family came, right? 700
total
families.
Of 700 people.
700 people came.
People total, yeah. Across
700. So why would the Jews? Look, 1938, things are starting to get bad. Adolf Hitler.
No Israel at that point.
No Israel, but why not more than 700 came?
The standing story on this, and I still add to my own knowledge on a regular basis, is that the standard story is out there is that the shipping lanes closed down, the war began, they didn't have the same access. The U-boats that were, the German U-boats would shoot down the ships, but we all know about the St. Louis and what happened there. And I think that it was a matter of after the original 500 came, this is over the span of 1940 to 1947, I believe. The last group came from Shanghai in 1947, so it was over a longer period of migration.
Shanghai.
Yes, yeah, the last group. There was about 7 different groups.
Incredible!
Yeah.
That is an incredible story.
That's why I have the passion, intense passion, as you would say, to tell this, because not many people know it.
Now, yesterday we are able to see the original structure, the original synagogue still standing here. Mm-hmm. There's a museum right now.
Adjacent to that.
What do we know about the story of the Jewish people who got here? It was a terrible time. It was a difficult time for them, yes?
Yeah, I mean, they landed here coming from Europe and other destinations where obviously a Caribbean climate, you know, they were basically dropped
They're European. They're not used to this.
Yeah.
They're all Ashkenazic, by the way. We should make this point very, very clear to everybody.
Right, exactly. They were coming from Eastern Europe, and those were the generally oppressed areas, but, you know, they were forced to become agriculturalists. So they actually came from other professions, but the only provision that was made is that you're going to come here, but you have to be a farmer.
They came with nothing.
And with nothing.
Not knowing the language.
Not knowing the
and
language.
Yesterday, actually, I met one of the descendants that his father, he showed me his name. Benny Katz. He showed me his name of his father. And today I asked him, do you speak like Yiddish or this? And all what he knows is pretty much Spanish at this point, you know.
Yeah, you can't not.
They're integrated now.
Yeah, all fully integrated.
But even in the cemetery, we heard yesterday the stories of some of the Jewish community members who committed suicide, because I guess it was too difficult.
I defer to those who were here and their respect of those who went through it and the families that did. But again, from my understanding, they actually needed a place of rehabilitation. There's actually another place in the country called Harabacoa. It's about an hour and a half south of here. It was part of the original settlement that was destined to be a rehabilitation point for people who had malaria or adjusting to the heat. So, for instance, two of the original settlers here, both of their parents, while they were in vitro, were needed to be sent there to convalesce because of the malaria, because of the heat and the adjustment to the heat.
The Jewish people really had a very difficult time here. And they tried different industries.
Correct, tried different industries. I want to make sure to characterize this properly, because if you speak to any of these people, they would say it was the most idyllic upbringing ever, because they have only fond memories of the beach. Remember, they were away from the war, they were displaced from the horrors that were going on in Europe.
Maybe it's better than Germany.
Oh, obviously much better than Germany, as evidenced by your dip in the ocean today. Yeah, it's a beautiful area. But essentially, if you speak to some of these original settlers, they were shielded completely from what was happening in Europe, and they weren't told until later, afterward. I remember Rene Kirshheimer is one of the original settlers, who you haven't met him yet, but he was saying how he's up till age 8 or 9 or 10, that was only then that his father informed him of the war going on and all of these other horrors. They were living here in this bubble.
I think about this also, why God brought the Jews here. And I always think about the word of God to Abraham. Listen, you're a Jew, and you understand that God says to Abraham, through you all the family of the earth shall be blessed. I was stunned when you told me yesterday that all the dairy products coming from here and coming through the hands of the Jewish people to feed this entire country.
The entire island, exactly, which started as a smaller business. They developed and did a great job of it. Producto Sosúa eventually supplied dairy products, milk, cheese, pork products, dare I say, to the...
You started the one who produced the pork product.
Throughout the island, so to their credit, it turned out to be a successful venture. I mean, obviously some did better than others. Some people actually adapted to farming. They came here and they hated it, and all of a sudden they found a love for it.
So the Jewish community obviously been growing and rising. I saw some of the picture. It was a very strong, thriving Jewish community.
Vibrant area, and the first thing that was noted as well is there was no prejudice. There was very, very little prejudice here, which I think is very notable. They came here, and when they integrated with the locals, they just didn't admit them. They admitted them. They accepted them. They gave them a path to citizenship. They became full productive citizens, and so it's a role model of best practices for immigration and refugee challenges, which you see today.
So you took upon yourself the mantle of like Hasbara to be able to be a spokesman and to explain that this is the model. So here we are. We just celebrated Sosúa 75 recently, right?
That was the 75th anniversary of the original founding of the community. Was back in 2015.
And you are founder of a Jewish organization called Sosúa 75.
Correct. And it's named after that.
And I understand something also very interesting, prophetic, that you share with me, that out of the 32 nations that came, only Dominican Republic.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I was stunned. So yesterday we met with the mayor of Sosúa, who happened to be also Jewish.
Yeah.
I was quite stunned by this, But you said something that hit me deep in the heart. You said only one country, Dominican Republic, was openly taking Jewish people, and there are 32 provinces.
We just learned that yesterday, that there are also 32 provinces in this country, and so 32 countries in Yevian, 32 provinces here, and what's the singular province here? The singular country was Dominican Republic. What's the singular province here, which embodies this whole vibe is here in this one of 32 provinces, Sosúa.
So, I was yesterday here, my heart was breaking a little bit. I want to ask your opinion about this. I don't like fluff interviews.
I know that.
But my heart was breaking because the synagogue, beautiful, just absolutely beautiful synagogue. Small, but it was built as a Sephardic synagogue actually by Ashkenazic and obviously it was the cultural center, was probably the synagogue, I can imagine, of this town, and to see it now, this is an historic, to say, hey, the Jewish people were here, the Jewish people were built this country.
They built this whole North Coast area.
You built this area. This area, people need to understand. Dominican Republic was built, I not say fully, but partially, especially the driving, by Jewish people.
Absolutely.
And how many people are actually knowing that?
Christopher Columbus either, which
yeah, we didn't talk about Columbus. But by the way, everybody here, I even spoke to Jewish people, everybody here believed that Columbus was Jewish. You know, but that's another topic.
Yeah, that's a whole other interview.
If you're interested in that, come to the Congress in June. We're going to talk about the Anusim. Be there in Congress, in Colombia, Congress Yovel. You need to be there for that. But look, this is significant. You tell me Jewish people build this land. How many people here locally even know that?
Well, we're trying to get the word out. I don't think enough, and I don't think, frankly, enough of the people in the world know about it. You asked me what the motivation behind starting Sosúa 75 was back in 2014. And by the way, this is very timely because this is actually my 5th anniversary next week of my founding of this. So, yeah, so it's wonderful to have this opportunity.
So what is your motivation? What's your skin in this game? Well, what is the word, the message you want to get out to the world today? Kind of looking not just to the past, but looking forward.
Absolutely. The Holocaust was always something that was very front and center in our household, and something to, again, everyone says, you know, never forget and all that.
But we are forgetting. I saw it yesterday, and it looked to me like we are forgetting.
Exactly, and your history repeats itself, history rhymes. I've heard a number of ways of it being said, but the bottom line is that this whole knowledge of the Holocaust, when 2 out of 3 people, millennials, don't even know where Auschwitz is or what it was, it's pretty scary. So between that and some of these other anti-Semitic incidences which are happening around the world, this is a place where a beacon of hope was extended, where they showed how successful these immigrants could be. They, you know, eventually after the war happened, most of the folks went back to Miami, Boston,
but to me as a Jew, and you're as a Jew too, to me it serves as another message. Look what blessing the Jewish people bring to the world. What a blessing they come when you invite the Jewish people. It's a message to the world. The world today rejecting us because we're Jews. There's the anti-Semitism you and I have been talking about. In America is on the rise. In South America, look what is happening. The chief rabbi of Argentina recently been beat down. Anti-Semitism is in a record. Well, not even to talk about Europe here. Yeah. But there's another message here that we can bring to the world. Look what happened when you open the door and you open the heart to the Jewish people. Exactly. A blessing come upon you. Exactly. I'm willing to bet that Sosúa is the most beautiful area in all of the Dominican Republic.
I think people would refute that only because there's multiple places that are beautiful.
No, I mean when I say beautiful, I mean productive.
From the heart, productive. Starting from nothing. And
from nothing.
Genesis of nothing, to become what it has. And that's why now to see this community kind of fading, because a lot of these people have gotten older, they've moved on, some of them have died now. It's 80 years now.
For those of you who missed the interview, Eliyahu has been successful in many venues. One of them is in the baseball world when he's played professionally. So you're connected now with those, like the Red Sox Academy and all of those things. So there's a great vision here, and I love the vision here of creating like a, I don't want to use the word museum, but like make this like
cultural center.
Make this an historical landmark.
And that's
make it an historical Jewish landmark. That's exciting.
I feel so as well. I wouldn't have moved us here and
so you did a lech lecha. You left Boston, got all the way here just to pursue this calling.
Yeah.
I want you to understand something. This is God working in your life. You might not even fully understand it, but I see it clearly that this is God calling you to be a beacon of light to the Jewish community and to the God of Israel. Talk to us a little bit in 1 or 2 sentences.
Sure.
What are you planning?
So the
I'm
whole
excited.
Ideal was to create a Jewish Dominican cultural education center here, which would embody the elements that are most essential to this culture. Again, this area needs to be remembered for its history, also to be bring out the cultural aspects of it, which are the Indian Taino Indian culture, which was first discovered by Christopher Columbus.
Multicultural.
A baseball baseball stadium. I want to build a baseball stadium here as part of this to attract tourists for what they call, clean tourism, where people can come, be immersed in the culture, enjoy their time like we did on the beach, and do all those things ordinarily would do, but also learn something. Because right now, a lot of people just show up and they just come across this. Say, what is this? They don't know any history. That's the main motivation why I even did this. So
and obviously, you want them to know the Jewish history very much, so it will never happen again.
Never happen again. And last year in Evian, France, where I was able to direct a conference that reconvened the original 1938 conference through working with Dr. Shimon Samuels from the Simon Wiesenthal Center in Paris. We initiated a submission to UNESCO to have this area be recognized as a World Heritage Site, which would be huge because then the world globally would stamp that this is a worthy...
I am very excited about this, that this is happening now on the governmental level. This
bubbled up from...
bubble up. We're talking about the government of Germany now, the United States.
And Israel.
Israel. I'm thrilled about this. This is a very important and exciting project, and definitely something that we would want to get behind and support. Now, I want to ask you a difficult question now.
Go ahead.
So the synagogue is standing here, and everybody should know this. I'm Messianic Jewish. Do you have a problem with the fact that I'm Messianic Jewish?
Not at all.
You don't have a problem with it?
No, I don't have a problem.
Okay, that's cool. Good to know. And I found out that one of the original descendants here, his name is Benny Katz, he is a Messianic Jew, and there is a small Messianic Jewish fellowship here. This is the original people. I want you to understand. In the original people who came, there is a Messianic Jew who lead a fellowship here. Now, I want to ask you a real honest question. Don't flinch, you are live camera. Okay. But the synagogue is standing here, and it's used only on the holidays and things like this. With your perspective, despite the differences, about Yeshua, which we're talking through, and hopefully even that we can reconcile in some level. Do you have an issue, personally as a Jew, if a place like that, a synagogue like that, will be used on Shabbat by Messianic Jews?
Not at all. As we mentioned yesterday, I think it's a tremendously underutilized resource here that could be used for learning and for every culture and every religion to come. It's a building that has a spirit to it. There's a Torah there, which should not be gathering dust. And so more focus, in my opinion, should be put on revitalizing this community, making sure that the synagogue is structurally sound, that that there's a proud representation of this huge history here that is shown to others and not just something that is...
it's fresh for me to hear a Jew with such an open mind and heart speak like this, but this is, for me, will be an important point. We got the word that the Jewish community here indeed willing to talk with us and dialogue with us.
Put a mezuzah up on the town offices.
Put back with a mezuzah on the door and allow the Messianic Jewish Kehila to meet in the traditional synagogue on Shabbatot. I think it's actually would honor the continuity of the Jewishness of Sosúa. And that's obviously, this is a huge thing. It's a big deal, and we're asking...
Incredible opportunity.
Incredible opportunity. I poured my heart before the mayor yesterday. This is issue on a governmental level already, and I really believe that God also need to awaken the Jewish people, that remaining Jewish people here in Sosúa.
It's a responsibility.
To not to forget what is the responsibility of the Jew. And I'll ask you a question more now, religious tone. The goal of the Jew is to be a light to the world. And what can be more a greater light than let a Gentile come, even a Gentile, and to sit on a Shabbat service or to hear the Torah? What can be more beautiful than that?
Nothing. Nothing.
You have been with us yesterday.
2 days.
I just want to ask you a personal...
Highly energized.
personal level, what was going through your mind and your heart from what you experienced? Yeah.
You know, the musical piece of the couple of days, I think, and I was mentioning this to one of the singers and one of the players, the violin player, that it's almost as if you have a tuning fork to put it in. I could put it in baseball terms as much as possible. That's easier for me, but in music I'm not quite as adept. But it was almost like a tuning fork where you hit that tuning fork and it vibrates, and it was that same sense of vibration and awakening and resonation that stayed on my heart and my wife's heart from the last couple of days. And
That's amazing.
it's something that just still is buzzing in there. And that's in great part due to the inspirational messages that you give and also the following that is here.
Yeah.
And I see a huge opportunity for the continuation of the following leading up to the March,
The March,
28th
yeah.
March of Life.
And from
parade.
what I'm understanding now, that I held last year was 3,000. This year we're expecting somewhere between, I heard number between 7,000 to 10,000. Friends, this is absolutely
Testament
incredible,
to the word and to
incredible numbers, and we're blessed by this. I just blessed by you. I blessed first of all by your heart to continue to bring the Jewishness forward, to be a good Jew, to be a proud Jew, and to tell Central America, hey, the Jewish people are here. Welcome us. Partner with us, because a great blessing will come to you, and let us together say also this can never happen again.
No, it can never happen again.
Mazal Tov, and of course there's a big conference coming out for you also that you put together in Avi and Friends. How prophetic it is that you chose Avi and Friends for this thing.
We had it in the exact same spot where the original conference was held, so in the exact same room where the original conference was.
Wow.
The whole thing is to rewrite the script, to take a look at it from a critical way on why did the conference fail, what were the political
In
undertones
essence, what you're
at the
trying
time.
to do is to do a tikkun. You're trying to do
Always
a tikkun.
tikkun olam.
Yeah.
Always.
Well,
And then this year we're doing the same thing, hopefully the larger gathering and some huge subject matter experts and the largest Jewish organizations in the world.
Yeah.
And we're bringing students this year. So we're
wow,
actually
so
bringing
they're
students.
coming from Jewish students from all over the world to this.
Well, hopefully from the same 32 original countries that came the first time as student delegates or ambassadors, correct.
Friends, I encourage you. How people find out about you? What's the website?
The easiest thing is...
I'll put it.
Okay,
put it,
great.
Put it, but what
Here
is
you
it?
go.
Give
Here,
it.
you said you would put
Oh,
this
here we
on,
go.
So
Put it
here we
for
go.
me.
Can you see this, everyone?
Yeah, here you go.
He said he would do it, so
Here
we
we
still
go,
have it
doing
on
it
for
live.
a couple days, but
Sosúa
this
75,
is Sosúa
here we go.
75. And I'll let you make it as tight as you want later. But
Is that the website too?
yes, so it's www.sosua75.org.
I'm
We're a
excited about it.
nonprofit, so SOS.
Yeah,
I can make that tighter.
Yeah, I encourage you to check it out and to even invite Eliyahu to teach. Is really an amazing, incredible resource in the understanding of the
interconnectivity, particularly of these two stories. That's the whole
amazing.
thing. There's the Advent conference, what happened here, and then knowing about both.
Yeah, and most importantly, let's get ready for the future. Let's get ready for the future. Pray that the Lord will move in the heart of, for me, of the Jewish community. I would like to believe that even being able to testify and have services here on the Shabbat, and being able to have this cultural center, Jewish cultural understanding and center, this is all part of God's plan of glorifying His name in Central America. So we are part of it. I got to tell you, I was moved when we met with the mayor yesterday. Now I got a word this morning that the Jewish community is indeed willing to dialogue with us. It's all good. It's
huge
all
progress.
it's all good, and we have to understand that when the Geulah will come, it's not coming one for the going. It's coming one for everybody. For everybody. Eliyahu, this has been incredible interview.
You're welcome here anytime.
Thank you.
Our home, mi casa es su casa.
Thank you.
That's the extent of my
Thank
Spanish.
you. Yeah. It's crazy. You don't even speak Spanish. You pick up everything to establish this project.
Have to,
You know who you are? You're like Avraham Avinu. Lech lecha. Go. You just
Dispersed
pick up
population.
everything,
Yeah.
left it in Boston
Yeah.
to come here.
Yeah.
To pursue, I call it, in my lingo, it's a ministry to pursue this.
Aliyah to a different
To
area.
Aliyah
than
to a different place.
Israel.
Much love to all of you, especially to my beloved wife. Tonight or tomorrow, we are meeting with the ambassador of Israel. The clock of God. Tomorrow is happening. It's going to be incredible. We have a delegate from all 32 provinces coming tomorrow. It is incredible what's happening here in Dominican Republic. Just getting us warming up, getting ready. Just be on the lookout. Tune in. And again, continue to pray and to support this work that we're doing in Central America. And if you don't know about it, just as a reminder, May 30, May 31st is Puri Yeshiva, and then the Congress, June 1 through 3rd. I invite you all to join us in the Congress in Colombia. This year we're talking about the remnant, Sherit. This is what we're doing here. There's a remnant is staying. If you're interested, check it out. I have the links for you. Would love to see all our friends, Spanish, English, coming. We're getting ready for the final Geula. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to you.
Huge pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always welcome.